Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
The Crossover with Marlon and Armon is brought to you by Western States Plumbing and AC.
You're now tuned in to The Crossover with Marlon Jones and Armon Williams.
Hold up, you're teaming up a Sun Devil and a Wildcat? Who came up with that brilliant idea?
The Crossover on KDUS AM 1060.
All right, welcome to The Crossover. Marlon Jones and Armon Williams, KDUS 1060, brought to you by Western States Plumbing and AC, where members receive 2 annual maintenance visits, as well as up to 20% off repairs and new systems. Give them a call today, 480-712-8908. And call into our listener line at 602-260-1060. Once again, that's 602-260-1060. If you feel like giving us a take, let us know how you think about the show. And I got my partner, Marlon Jones. He goes by Big Showtime. I am Armon the Hammer Williams. Big Showtime, how you doing, man?
Man, it is all good and good to be here. I can tell you that right now.
It feels good, right?
It feels great.
We're back.
We're back.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's time to give you the honey you've been waiting for and what we call the opening buzz.
It's now time for the Morning Buzz.
All right, the screaming that you guys heard, that was probably George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12 Conference, as his conference just got absolutely obliterated and gutted. So after a roller coaster of twists and turns and the saga over the condition of the Pac-12 Conference, it's official. It's pretty much official now, Marlon, that the Pac-12 Conference is being given its final farewells. It's terminal, and it's about time to make transition for the Pac-12 Conference.
Rest in peace, Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-8. You guys have been wonderful. Actually, you know what, though, Armand? I think the writing was on the wall when Pete Carroll left, when he left USC. And USC.
You think it was back then, Pete Carroll?
Yeah, because when you look at the history of the Pac-12 over the last few years, maybe with the exception of Oregon the 1 year, there was a lack of respect for the conference.
Right.
There was a lack of respect. It was almost like a borderline P5 NWC type conference.
Well, I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little bit after that. I think Pete Carroll left because of.
We know why he left.
He left because he committed committed crimes against crimes against the NCAA. That's why he bolted for Seattle.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, SC was at the top of the
they were at the top of the food chain,
and everybody had to respect the conference.
Oh, okay.
Because of
I
SC.
see where you're going with this.
Right. And we had to respect because of SC.
So you think that SC, once SC started to fall back, and then Oregon and some of these other teams, now of course, it's Utah that's pretty much at the top of the food chain right now in the Pac-12 conference, especially in football at least, which is the revenue sport in all of college athletics. I get where you're going there. I think George Kliavkoff put together an absolutely horse dog doo-doo television deal, a streaming deal. It was a streaming deal with Apple Television or Apple Streaming, Apple Plus.
I know.
And then in addition to that, but before that was Larry Scott that set the table.
Absolutely.
And we're going to get into that. But there's a sound bite. Pete Thamel from ESPN, who's been on top of this pretty much the whole entire time. He talks about the demise, or ultimately Arizona State and Utah making their application to enter into the Big 12, which University of Arizona already got admitted. I don't know if we have that available or not, but if we do, can you go ahead and pull that up?
Future by Arizona State and Utah. We just learned from ESPN sources that Arizona State and Utah have both formally applied for Big 12 membership. That's sort of the first formal step in this process of membership. There's another Big 12 call planned tonight. An announcement on all 3 schools formally coming in together could come within the next 24 hours. The process has hit a hurry-up stage in the Big 12, and the move obviously would leave the Pac-12 with just 4 remaining schools.
All right, so that was Pete Thamel kind of describing basically the aftermath of kind of all this stuff accumulating. Now, ultimately, it started with USC and UCLA.
Yeah.
Their exodus a year ago. That you can't expect the Pac-12 to ever really be able to fully recover from that. You lost the heart and soul of the conference. You lost the two teams that are basically the soul of the conference,
sure.
and the LA market. So you
LA,
lose
yeah.
arguably the second or the largest media market in the country, and maybe the largest media market in the world. You can't recover from that.
No, you can't. And like I said, what I alluded to earlier, why I brought up Pete Carroll and whatnot, is USC is the, first of all, it's a blue blood program. And, they're the top of the food chain when it comes to football with the Pac-12.
Absolutely.
And when they're not at the top of their game, there's a lack of respect to the conference where everybody outside looking in doesn't respect the conference. Nobody's looking at Oregon as a consistent top 10, top 20 team. Washington had a couple of years. And, of course, Utah, as tough as we know how tough Utah is, because we're Pac-12 fans and have been forever. But outside the conference, nobody's looking at Utah at that same level, that same light. So, it was inevitable when SC and UCLA made the jump that the Pac-12 was pretty much critical.
Yeah, it's pretty much toast. And this is Brett Yormark, who is the commissioner. He's a commissioner of the Big 12 Conference. This is what he said in a statement recently. I think he did this yesterday, put this out yesterday. It says, "We are thrilled to welcome Arizona State, and Utah to the Big 12. And it says the conference is gaining 3 premier institutions, both academically and athletically, and the entire Big 12 looks forward to working alongside their presidents, athletic directors, student athletes, and administrations." And of course, this is just after, like literally about a day after the Big 10, came in and said, "Hey, Oregon, Washington, you guys want to join USC, UCLA? We're kind of trying to create a kind of a coastal thing with the Big 12 now that we got USC and UCLA." And they decided to come to the conference in spite of the fact that they're not going to be, at least initially, they're not going to be making as much money as USC and UCLA are. They're not going to be getting the equal amount in the share revenue. Now, ultimately, they'll wind up getting equal value that USC and UCLA are getting once the television streaming contract ends. But even with them taking a portion of what USC and UCLA are going to be making, they're still making more money than what the Pac-12 could offer them.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So, excuse me, I know it was inevitable. Oregon and Washington is looking at, the Arizona schools are gone now. They're taking Utah with them. Colorado bounced.
Right.
What's left? And you look and see what's left.
What's left is Oregon State. When all is said and done, it's going to be Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal Berkeley. And Stanford and Cal Berkeley are going to ultimately wind up probably in the Big Ten. I think the only thing that's holding that up is Notre Dame.
For sure.
That's in the ACC. But they even right now, their relationship in the ACC, they have some weird, funky, kind of half commitment, half committal kind of thing where they can play half the schedule in the ACC conference and then go and do whatever the hell they want to do. I think the Big 12, they're going to get Notre Dame. They want Notre Dame to be committed to the Big 12. And now that they have USC, UCLA, they already routinely play Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State.
Sure.
Most of the teams that Notre Dame plays on a regular basis, on a consistent basis, Michigan State, those teams are already in the Big Ten Conference, and them adding USC, which is a traditional rivalry. That's probably one of the biggest rivalries in all of college sports, college football certainly, and UCLA. And if Stanford comes in, then they routinely play Stanford on a regular basis. So I think that might be the thing to incentivize them to go ahead and join the Big Ten Conference.
You know what I'm all in for? I'm all in for Stanford, Cal, Northwestern, Vanderbilt, Rice University.
Why not? Yeah, take Duke.
Duke.
Why not?
And join
the hell? Take the Ivy League, exactly.
And have a super conference with the Ivy League.
Take Dartmouth, Brown, Yale, Princeton,
phenomenal.
Harvard.
Yeah, take
Penn.
them all. Have a super conference with
Cornell.
the Ivy League, and pair it up with the Brainiacs and see how that goes. I'm all in for that.
Why not? But they're going to think about that. They're going to eventually probably. They don't have it technically. Technically, they don't have it right now, or at least on paper. But they're going to ultimately wind up getting Cal, Stanford.
Right.
They have Northwestern University. They have Michigan.
Oh yeah.
They got some pretty good. They got some pretty high academic standard schools.
Absolutely.
In that conference.
And that's inevitably what was holding up Dr. Crow from ASU, is he still wanted to be associated with the Northern California schools and their academics. Because he was on the fence initially. A couple days ago, it was like, yes, ASU was going to go with U of A. and sign with the Big 12, then all of a sudden, well, you know what? I'm going to listen and see what the Pac-8 that's remaining has to say.
Right. Well, right now, it's the Pac-4.
Oh, it's the Pac-4. And it could be worse. We could be Washington State and Oregon State fans because nobody is looking to pull them out the conference to join.
Well, what the hell do you think is going to ultimately happen to the Pac-4? I already have my speculation of what I think is ultimately going to happen. I think that they're going to have to make a merger with the Mountain West Conference.
Don't have a choice.
Nobody else is going to want. They're talking about possibly having some type of like loose relationship affiliation with the ACC, but that's out the window now.
No.
Because they don't want to touch Oregon State and Washington State, and then Stanford and Cal looking to get the hell out as soon as they can. So what I think ultimately is going to happen is it's probably going to take those two remaining teams, Oregon State and Washington State, and say, hey, will you please take, and maybe they can entice the Mountain West to go ahead and to lose their name and then go ahead and take the PAC, the Pacific Athletic Conference name, go ahead and abandon the Western Conference.
That might be the natural course.
Yeah. All right. That was a good segment. Coming up next, we talk about the HBO Max Hit series. Winning Time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Season 1 and Season 2 launches this weekend with one of the show's writers and executive producers and creators, Jim Hecht, right here on The Crossover, KDUS 1060.